Mr. Speaker, when I started this debate just about 10 hours ago, I think I said a number of things which either were forgotten by those who came afterwards, including those who came immediately after, or just ignored, either forgotten or ignored by those who came right after or some time after. I could excuse those who started to speak perhaps at 11 o'clock or so. I mean, it's been a long day. But there were others who spoke immediately after me. And if I could just go through quickly what I said by way of a rebuttal to some of the points which were made. The point has been made over and over again that this is not the answer to crime. Well, I think I started off by quoting police statistics. I said, this is what CAPA says. We have a problem with gang-related homicides. I don't know how many different ways to say that. We have a problem with gang-related homicides. And then I said we have a problem with home invasions. I said that what we did with respect to gang-related homicides was to cripple the leadership of the gangs, put them away somewhere that you did not dare to touch them. You did not dare to move them to. Cut off their command structures. They were unable to speak to their soldiers. And as a result, the gang-related homicides fell precipitously. That is a fact. And it is, you cannot see, by way of a rebuttal to that, well, there has been a state of emergency for 9 years, for 9 months. That is glib. There was a state of emergency for 3 months when the member for Port of Spain North jumped out on a television and said his leader was somewhere playing golf in Tobago, and he said, well, listen, state of emergency. State of emergency. And you know what? A director of public prosecutions was slaughtered during that state of emergency. What has happened during ours? Nothing similar. It has been efficient. It has dealt with the threat that we faced, and we have had a reduction, a dramatic reduction in the rate of gang-related homicides. But that is not the end of it. We said that we were looking at judicial reform. We have started that hard work. And we also said that we were doing work in relation to the matter that brings us, that has brought us here this afternoon. And it's part of an entire package to make our citizens feel more secure. And at the heart of that is a conception that they ridicule. And that conception is this, that ownership of firearms is not the province of the chattering classes. It is not for those of us who have too many guns and we wish to donate guns because they're too powerful to the police service. That is not what we're about. We say that we should democratize the ownership of firearms. And that is separate and apart from what is before us this afternoon. That is where we are going. If it is good for your financiers, you know where they are and you know who they are, and you know what they have in their houses, if it is good for them, it is good for our supporters, our law-abiding supporters as well. But the legislation that is before us is this afternoon is comprised of 11, only 11 clauses. And I just want to remind colleagues, because I heard the member for Port of Spain North and someone else mention that the Law Reform Commission is staffed by good public servants. That is true. It is a body set up by statute. It is supposed to be a body which is in charge of looking at the law. That's their job. They look at the law, they look at deficiencies in the law, they study various models all over the world, and then they say, if you have a problem, this may be your fix. You did nothing about it. We came, my Prime Minister directed me to ask them to solve this problem. And what those public servants that you say are decent, good, hard-working public servants, you say they are. They've come up with this model. And we brought this model to this Parliament today. Now, what does the law before us do? It does two things. It creates the offense of home invasion, which I mean, it's kind of difficult to, I don't know if the PNM has caucus again. They used to have a caucus back in the day. So it's difficult for me to understand when some persons say, well, okay, home invasion is criminalizing home invasion is a good thing, and then others suggest that, I want to be very careful. I'm terrified of the Privileges Committee. Terrified. So, sometimes some folks say that it is a good thing, the home invasion, punishing home invasion is a good thing. Others say no. The fact is that the law does two things. It punishes home invasion. That was not done before. And then it enhances the self-defense and defense of property. Those two defenses. 11 clauses. Now, that's it. That's all those 11 clauses do, my friends. Now, inside of there, I heard a couple times from Port of Spain South, who is an experienced lawyer. I heard that there were some constitutional concerns. But the concerns that I think I heard, I might have been wrong, dealt with, the right of the individual to retaliate using deadly force. Now, and I'm not saying that the Law Association is right, but we embarked on a series of consultations. And one of those consultations was with the Law Association. The Law Association had a couple problems with the law. They said, first of all, that there was nothing unconstitutional about the self-defense, right? Defense of self, use deadly force. If you wish, I could read it out to you, but it's late, it's 11:30, and I'm sure that you wish to bet it by. I'm pretty certain of that. So they said there was nothing wrong with that. But they did say that insofar as the defense of property, that defense was concerned, that the use of deadly force there might run afoul the provisions of the Constitution. I did not agree. I sought independent advice, and that independent advice did not concur with the Law Association. And that is the reason why there is no constitutional certificate on the legislation, because we think it is covered by SURAT. And that's it. It's our job to make our best decision on the legislation. We've sought advice on it. We've done the responsible thing. The legislation is before you. And, you know, I make no apologies for it. Now, in terms of the other comments about vigilante justice and Florida, and I mean, let's be, it's 11:34, so vigilante justice, black people in Florida being singled out by the police, and so on and so on. This is not Florida. All of our police officers are African American people, most of them, right? They aren't going to be, our sociological circumstances are different. Our sociological conditions are different. And as the Prime Minister says, everything is not about race. We looked at Florida as a model. Not the model, it was a model. We looked at Ireland as well. Why? And then there was a draft prepared by the Law Reform Commission. The draft is before you. It is the best that we can do. It is more than you did in the past 10 years. I say that with confidence because you watched as Rome burned. You saw 650 odd of our citizens die at the hands of gang-related homicides last year. And you did nothing. You have no moral authority to come and speak to us today. None. In 6 months, we have pushed hard to bring the gang-related homicides under control. We have pushed hard to reform, to begin the hard work of reforming the judicial system. There have been changes to personnel in key positions in this country, and we have brought this legislation which we promised to bring. It is not the end, it is a beginning. There is more to come. As my Prime Minister says, promise made, promise kept. Promise kept. Mr. Speaker, with those words, I beg to move.
Honourable members, the question is that a bill entitled An Act to Establish the Offence of Home Invasion and in that context to provide that a person has no duty to retreat when acting in self-defense or defense of his property, to provide that a person may use defensive force, including deadly force, to protect himself, his property, or another person in his dwelling house, and to provide for related matters, be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The clerk will read the long title of the bill.
A bill entitled An Act to Establish the Offence of Home Invasion and, in that context, to provide that a person has no duty to retreat when acting in self-defense or defense of his property, to provide that a person may use defensive force, including deadly force, to protect himself, his property, or another person in his dwelling house, and to provide for related matters.
Honourable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 68-1, I beg to move that the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025 be committed to the Committee of the Whole to be considered clause by clause.
Honourable members, the question is that the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025 be committed to the Committee of the Whole to be considered clause by clause. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. This House shall now go into the Committee of the Whole to consider the bill clause by clause.
Clauses 1 to 9.
The question is that clauses 1 to 9 stand part of the bill. The question is that clauses 1 to 9 now stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. No. The ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 9 now stands part of the bill. The question is that the bill be now reported to the House. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The bill will now be reported to the House. Honourable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to report that the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025 was considered in the Committee of the Whole and approved without amendment. I now beg to move that the House agree with the committee's report.
Honourable members, the question is that this House agree with the committee's report on the Home Invasion, Self-Defense and Defense of Property Bill 2025. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that a bill entitled An Act to Establish the Offence of Home Invasion, and in that context to provide that a person has no duty to retreat when acting in self-defense or defense of his property, to provide that a person may use defensive force, including deadly force, to protect himself, his property, or another person in his dwelling house, and to provide for related matters be now read a third time and passed.
Honourable members, the question is that a bill entitled An Act to Establish the Offence of Home Invasion, and in that context, to provide that a person has no duty to retreat when acting in self-defense or defense of his property, to provide that a person may use defensive force, including deadly force, to protect himself, his property, or another person in his dwelling house, and to provide for related matters, be now read a third time and passed. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Division. Right, okay. Division having been called for, I have no discretion. The clerk will take the division.
Mr. Padarith?
A resounding yes.
Mrs. Prasad Bisessa?
Yes.
Mr. Tanku?
Absolutely yes.
Dr. Munilal?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Miss Amin?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Maharaj?
Absent.
He's not here.
Miss Mohit?
Yes.
Mr. Sturge?
Yes.
Dr. Bodo?
Yes.
Dr. Dowlat?
Yes.
Dr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Miss Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Dr. Sicharan?
Yes.
Mr. Kesar?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Miss Sam?
Yes.
Dr. Rupnarain?
Yes.
Dr. Gosain?
100% yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
No.
Mr. Imbert?
No.
Dr. Gadsby Dolly?
No.
Mr. Young?
No.
Mr. Scotland?
No.
Mr. Dina Brigger?
No.
Mr. Manning?
No.
Mr. Marcel?
No.
Mr. Birchwood?
No.
Mr. Romaine?
No.
Results of division are as follows. 23 members voted for the bill, 10 members voted against, there were 0 abstentions.
And to announce, members, that the results of the division is 23 members voted in favour of the bill, 10 against with 0 abstentions. I will now invite the clerk to read the long title of the bill. Okay, allow the clerk to do her job.
A bill entitled An Act to Establish the Offence of Home Invasion and, in that context, to provide that a person has no duty to retreat when acting in self-defense or defense of his property, to provide that a person may use defensive force, including deadly force, to protect himself, his property, or another person in his dwelling house, and to provide for related matters.